Hey everyone, and welcome. I'm Kamala Kayam, your new Dean of Undergraduate Student Life here at Columbia. You can call me Dean K. We are so excited to welcome you to campus in a few days, and welcome to the webinar on campus involvement. I've been on the job just long enough to know that there are about a million ways to get involved on campus, and if you do try them all of them at once, you might need an extra semester or two just to catch your breath. Today's session is all about helping you discover the opportunities, the communities, and experiences that will make your Columbia years unforgettable. Getting involved isn't just about filling your calendar. It's also a way to discover more about who you are, what brings you joy, discerning your purpose, networking, how you might contribute to the greater good, and which activities and interests fuel your passion. That is especially true during your first year, where exploration is key. Think about clubs, student organizations, events, leadership roles, and those unexpected moments where you might just meet your lifelong friends. I'm joined by three amazing student panelists, Margaret, Armando, and Sam, who will share their own stories about getting involved, what worked, what surprised them, and maybe even a few I wish I'd known this sooner tips. This is your chance to hear directly from students who've been where you are, and can give you the real scoop, the kind of stuff you won't find on our website. So get comfortable, listen in, and don't be afraid to jump into the Q&A. By the end, you will definitely have a head start in finding your people, your interests, and your place here at Columbia. Before we get to the wonderful panelists, I'd like to introduce Nina Lamb, our Associate Director of Student Engagement, to review some key involvement information. Nina?
Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Dean Kayam. It's nice to see all of you. Thank you all for being here this morning. Yes, as Dean Kayam said, my name is Nina Lamb. I use she, her pronouns. I'm an Associate Director of Student Engagement in the Office of Undergraduate Student Life. I work with student clubs and student group advising, and I'm going to just show you guys a little brief overview of some of the big buckets of ways that students get involved on campus. So to start us off, we have our Columbia College Student Council. This is the student council for Columbia College students. There are a bunch of different ways to get involved. There's an e-board. There are class councils for each class year that you all can get involved with. There are other groups within CCSC that you can also get involved with. I have here the sort of homepage for the CCSC website. That QR code links to the website as well as the URL on the bottom. Feel free to use either of those to see the website. And then just to show you briefly, this is the CCSC mission statement. So CCSC works to sort of represent and provide support and events and collaboration for the whole CCSC student body. I'll give you a second to read this. There's a lot of ways to get involved through CCSC. And then on the other side of things, for students who are in Cs, there's also ESC, which is the Engineering Student Council, which serves similar purposes for the engineering student body. Again, I have a QR code that links to their website as well as the URL on the bottom. And I have here their mission and vision as well. So similarly, ESC serves to support the community, provide collaboration, programming, work with the academic departments, etc. And then ESC and CCSC work closely together on some events throughout the year. They also work with the student councils at both the School of General Studies and Barnard College. So there's a lot of involvement in campus community through those student councils. Again, ESC also has an e-board, a class council for each school year, as well as various committees. And then on the sort of different side of things, we have two governing boards at Columbia that we mainly work with in our office that are undergraduate student club focused. One is the activities board at Columbia. There's again a QR code here and a URL that links to their homepage. ABC and the other governing board, SGB, which I'll talk about in a moment, are governing boards that recognize student groups. So student groups at Columbia sort of fall under under a number of governing boards. The ones that we work with primarily in undergraduate student life are these two. There are the Activities Board at Columbia and the Student Governing Board recognize different types of student groups. So depending on what sort of student group you're looking to get involved with, you can look at the lists of groups that are recognized by either ABC or SGB. And you can also get involved with ABC and SGB as a representative, working with some student clubs directly or on the e-board. And I'll put up here again ABC's mission and their constitutional responsibilities. ABC also and SGB also work a lot with funding student clubs, as well as supporting them, advocating for them, helping them with all sorts of things that they're trying to do on campus. And then here's the student governing board. Again, this is their homepage, and the QR code and URL are here as well. So the student governing board and ABC work closely together as well. They work on all sorts of a variety of student issues and student group issues that students bring to them. And here is the student governing board's mission statement as well. And I will pause there and I'll stop sharing. So you will hear from some of the student leaders in these organizations during this webinar. And I would encourage all of you to visit their websites and take a look at what they're involved with and what they do on campus. There are obviously many, many student groups that I didn't talk about specifically, but that you'll hear a little bit more about and that you can find via these sort of buckets. And with that, I will pass it back to Dean Kayam and I'll invite on our student panelists.
Thank you so much, Nina. Margaret, Armando, and Sam, are we ready to take it away? I'm going to have our panelists officially introduce themselves, say their name, pronouns, school, and year and major. So name, pronoun, school, year, and major. So Sam, do you want to start, or Margaret, Armando? I'll have you all.
Sure.
Awesome.
Hi, guys. My name is Sam Cano Carrera. I'm a rising senior from CC. And yeah, I'm studying economics, political science, and film and media studies.
Hi, I'm Margaret. I use she, her pronouns. I am a rising sophomore and I'm in C's and I'm a financial engineering major.
And last but definitely not least, Armando.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Armando Javier Jimenez. I go by he, him. I'm Columbia College rising senior, and I major in creative writing and minor in psychology.
Thank you all. All right, so for our first question, it can feel daunting to arrive on a new campus and not know anyone. And it can take a while to find your place, but Columbia students often talk about how much they love their communities and how important it was to find belonging in a new place. Thinking back on your own arrival to campus, what did you find yourself doing in your first year out of the classroom? Armando, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah.
My first year at Columbia was truly a fantastic experience, and I encourage every first year. It's a great opportunity to explore, and that's exactly what I did. I really had a wide variety of interests, and due to Columbia's diversity and just everything that it had to offer, there were so many different facets of the community that I could join. So I joined Columbia's Culinary Society because I love to cook and I love to eat. And then I joined Ferris Reel Film Society, which is movie showings and movie critiques. And there's even more professional stuff as well that I was interested in, such as the Black Pre-Law Society, as well as the Writers Society. So many interesting facets of the community that I really became attracted to, and they were so inviting for me to come in. And it was just one of the easiest ways to socialize with the people that are around me and like-minded, and it was so easy to find people like that.
Thank you, Armando. Margaret, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously just was in your place last year, and I think something that really helped me was just putting myself out there and talking to a lot of people because Columbia just offers so many opportunities in New York, especially. So there's really like something for every single interest you can ever think of. And then honestly, I really do think like trying a little bit of everything because I think knowing what you don't like is just as valuable as knowing what you do like.
Thanks, Margaret. And Sam, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think both of my peers said it perfectly, but yeah, putting yourself out there when you first start is going to be, I think, the best thing, being open to a lot of new possibilities, trying new things. This is a new moment and stage of your life. So really put yourself out there to try anything and everything. Yeah, I was similar to Margaret, where I maybe tried some things that I knew I didn't like that pointed me towards a direction of finding communities that I actually was more involved in afterwards.
So you all just spoke about your approach in your first year. What are you currently involved in now? Armando, you're shaking your head. Go for it.
I'm involved. I've stretched myself too thin. I don't advise this for everyone, but I'm president of activities board at Columbia. I'm a radio host for WKCR, which is Columbia's adjacent radio channel. I recommend everyone listen to it. I'm a board member of Black Pre-Law Society, as well as still active in Columbia's Culinary Society, as well as I volunteer at the Merton Institute, which is a Catholic society adjacent to Columbia.
Thanks, Armando. Margaret, your thoughts?
Yeah, so I'm involved in a couple of finance funds, so 116th and Partners and Columbia Alpha Partners. Outside of that, like less professionally, I'm on the board of the club tennis team, which is super fun. I'm also VP of policy this year for ESC, or Engineering Student Council. And then I'm also involved in Greek life. So
So thank you. Sam?
Yeah, I've been in student government since my freshman year. I used to serve as a class president for 2 years. Then I was a treasurer for the student body, and I'm now currently the student body president for Columbia College. But I've also really enjoyed being an RA. I've been an RA for 3 years now. I was an RA for freshmen. So I've not only been a freshman living in Carmen, but I've also been an RA living in Carmen, which a lot of you will live in Carmen next year. So I've been in your shoes in your position. But yeah, I've loved that. And I'm also part of another clubs, such as like LPEN, which is for Latino Professional Society, the Journal of Global Health, and I'm a writer for Studio 292, which is our undergraduate film studio.
Awesome, Sam. And folks, I just wanted to remind you that we also have the Q&A open for you all. So as you're hearing some of these acronyms, as you're hearing the involvement journey of our panelists, questions might be coming up for you. At some point, I may ask the panelists to think about just how do they manage their time as they're dealing with their coursework, as well as their robust involvement record and engagement. So with that, I want to shift now to traditions, because Columbia have several number of traditions here on campus that take place each year and obviously provide a great way for different communities and the larger community to come together. What is your favorite campus tradition and why? And Armando, I think I might calling you to go first.
No problem at all.
Yeah.
Columbia has such a wide variety of campus traditions, and all of them are so unique and so fun. But I begrudgingly say Bacchanal just because it's such a fantastic time of like transforming the campus. It's a music festival and where we invite artists to come and play, and it's really where everyone partakes in. It's like homecoming, but the whole campus is just immersed in this sound and this feeling where everybody is excited. But some close seconds are the Powwow, Native American History Month Powwow, where there's great performances and a lot of really cool merchants where you can buy and stuff. Black History Month is always a fantastic event where multiple clubs come together to orchestrate one big outing. Homecoming and First Snow. First Snow is amazing on campus.
Awesome. Margaret, your thoughts?
yeah, I mean, I also love all of Columbia's like campus traditions just because it's so unique going to a school in New York, but also sometimes I love that feeling of like campus culture and like kind of channeling, sorry, that spirit of like a bigger school. I think I also really loved Bacchanal just because of all the spirit, but I'm also a big foodie and we have like Battle of the Dining Halls, which is super fun. It's like where all the dining halls kind of like compete or whatever to like serve the best dish of the year and kind of it's just like a lot of good food in the area. But we also do like a lot of night markets on low steps, and that's always a fun way to kind of explore what's out there.
Awesome. Thank you, Margaret. I love that I'm learning along with our students right now about all of these traditions. And I do agree that in New York City, and I'm in my third week in the city, I'm really enjoying the food that's in the area. It's absolutely delicious. Sam, your thoughts?
Yeah, I would say I think the first thing that comes to mind when I think of campus life is what the student councils do together. And one of the biggest traditions we have is tree lighting, which is imagine like the coziest day of the year for us. So on our beautiful campus, our College Walk, we light up all the trees after a couple of performance groups sing a cappella, they dance, and we're offering hot cocoa, and we're just celebrating the holiday season and being cold. However, it's like maybe the least cold day of the year because everyone's together and you feel really warm inside. And it's completely organized by the student council, so it's entirely student led. So it's really, really fun. And then I also say, I mean, this is no shade to any other schools, but Columbia College hosts a Halloween party every year, the student government. And I love that Halloween party. And we have like Halloween's my favorite holiday. So we have like a costume contest and everything. So if you guys are in Columbia College, be sure to watch out for that one
Yeah.
coming soon next month.
Thanks, Sam. So I'm going to take a few questions that we're seeing here in the Q&A. And the first question is, what does the Columbia College Student Council do, and are members elected?
Yeah, so there's a couple ways to answer this. Columbia College Student Council does a lot of things. So a lot of the events that I've mentioned or that we've mentioned are hosted by the Student Council. We also are the ones who give the funds for the club. So all the student councils come together at the beginning of the year and they give the governing boards the funds from student life. So we are able to host things. So clubs get money directly from the student governments. We also are very policy oriented. So things that come up as without like along the years about changing maybe a pass fail policy with the administration, or maybe if there's something going on campus, having a delayed grades thing. So just how a lot of the policy, we meet a lot with deans on the weekly and daily, talking to everybody. And then yeah, our members elected. So we have our executive board, which is elected, and those are the people who are leading the student council. Then we also have our general body members who are also elected for other roles. These can be class council positions, which is the only thing that freshmen are eligible for, as well as at-large student body positions. So that can be our sexuality and gender representative or our transfer representative. It's very unique things. But the entire student body is welcome to join any of our open meetings and our committees. So they can be part of the decision-making process and really give their input into all that.
Awesome. Thanks, Sam. So you all shared, I was saying before we got into taking questions from the Q&A, you all have a really wonderful, robust involvement journey and experience. How do you manage your time? How are you getting things done?
I think it's different for everybody. I have to say that everyone finds their own wave and their own motion and how they handle things. But for me, the best way to, to keep sane and to stay organized was to just have a. It's so easy to say this, but a work-life balance.
Yeah.
You have your school and you make sure you have your social time as well. It's kind of a living joke on Columbia Community of what's your Google Calendar? Let's put a hangout and put it in the Google Calendar. 2 hours of a day. I have it scheduled. I must get something done in this time, and so I'm worry free in those 2 hours, and I can relax, I can enjoy company. And at that point, clubs can also be that for a lot of people. We have so many special interest clubs and so many different facets for people to interact. We have a Minecraft club where people play Minecraft for an hour and a half. And it's just there's so many ways to de-stress, and you have to be active in finding them and really making sure that you schedule your place and you make sure that you're making time for yourself always.
Thanks, Armando.
Yeah, I mean,
Margaret?
what Armando was saying about like time management and making sure you have that balance, I really think like college and life in general, like what I've started learning is it's really about priorities and where you put things. Like, I do think obviously academics are very important, but also putting yourself out there and talking to people and like honestly, like when you go out in life after you graduate, it's just like a whole different world. And now is like the time when you have the chance to talk to all these interesting people that you're all putting on like one college campus. So I think making sure that you do have a balance of both is really like important.
I would say just to add on to that, because I think balance is the word that we have to describe this in, is if you can't leave the library every once in a while and leave the books, then you're gonna get burnt out pretty quickly. So you need to have that good balance. But I also would say something that I saw a lot my freshman year, and I felt myself, was like the impulse to do a lot when I first got here, and the impulse to sign up for the most amount of credits I could, and the impulse to do all that. And I think this is a tip for all new freshmen, but it's really like think of moving out of your house and being in this dorm and being a new independent adult as a class that you're taking with as many credits as you can think of. That's already going to be such a learning journey that really try to become who you are at Columbia first before you try to impose yourself so many other things. And really just take it easy, you know? Like no one has it figured out the first day they come here. So just take it easy and have fun with it.
Thanks, Sam. So we got another question in the Q&A. The person obviously they're an incoming film and media studies major. Could you tell them more about Studio 292 and how do I get involved in film
Yeah.
productions? Yeah. Sam, this
Uh,
sounds like for you.
Yeah, of course. So Studio 292 is our undergraduate film production on campus, and we do a couple of things. So there's a lot of things that have to do with networking with industry professionals. So we'll have a couple of times a year, industry professionals will come give a presentation, connect with students, and talk about their experiences. We've also had showings from previous Columbia alum who are now making movies or are making TV shows that come to present. And then we also have an ability to have students make their own films with our resources as the club. So what happens is that people pitch their ideas and then a couple like 4 to 5 get chosen per semester. And then you're giving a production budget and you're giving kind of a production team to work with on your projects. So it's a really good avenue to get involved in film, even if you don't want to make a movie and you maybe just want to write a script or you want to do audio. Anything is really welcomed into that space.
Thanks, Sam. So I'm gonna ask a question that probably might give you probably need to pause and think about it a little bit more. And so I want you to think through your most transformative experience or the most transformative impact that one of your involvement experiences had on you during your time here at Columbia. And if you can speak to that experience, we would love to hear your story around that. And again, you may want to take your time, which is totally fine.
I could speak to this.
Go for it.
The first thing that came on my mind was just being in the activities board of Columbia. It's a unique position to be in because people come to you for help. Rather than, you're a young student and there's going to be a lot of times of like uncertainty and you're not really going to know things. And it's not about whether you don't know something or you do know something. It's whether you have the drive to learn something and take responsibility or to make sure that you know something. And that happened to me with like clubs that would come ask me for financial advice, or they would have problems like I'm in overdraft, or my club can't afford this and I want to go on a travel and we have a huge tournament that we have to partake in. I think it was the debate team. And we were like, they represent Columbia. They have no other means. This is a great responsibility. It feels like important. And I had no way to manage it because my ex-president left. And I was just alone in the situation and I had to think of a way of, okay, we have systems in place. Let's do this. Let me look at Columbia policy. Let me see what I can do. Let me email people asking for help. A willingness to learn. I think that's the biggest thing, especially when you're in a place of trouble or you feel like the world is beating you down. There's always somebody that you can ask for help. And there's always somebody who has something, words of knowledge or words of kindness or sympathy. And I think that's the most important thing to remember, especially your time here at Columbia, is that you are not alone. You have a community, a very small, very big, widespread community that seeks to uplift each other. Rarely have I had to face someone say, no, I don't want to help you. People are always extending their hand here, and we really care about each other as a student body. And admin cares about us as well. So I always want to preface that.
Awesome. Thank you, Armando.
Yeah, I mean, going off of what Armando said, again, I think that was very well put in terms of like not being afraid to ask for help, because I know that's something I struggled with, like going through high school and then even like the first part of like first semester. But I guess I have like two answers for this. So, like I mentioned before, I'm in Greek life, and that's not something that I knew I wanted to do. I know there's like very much a stereotype around it, and it can be a really big deal on some campuses, and that's like amazing. But like for me, it just wasn't that much of a passion, but I just wanted to go and like meet girls and like other people who kind of just like wanted to put themselves out there. And honestly, it felt just like amazing to be a part of a community with like varying levels of involvement. Like you can be super involved or like you don't have to be. And I think it's just truly unique being in a sorority in New York. I guess my other part of it would be I didn't know I wanted to do finance coming in, and I think that's like a trend that everyone kind of goes into. And I still don't know because like I have so much time to figure it out. But joining a finance club just because like talking to some people and they really just loved the community of people in this club. And I think that's the big part that you'll find about a lot of these activities on campus is that like obviously like the professional part of it or like any other like community that you can get into from this club is important, but it's really about like enjoying the time that you're spending with these people because that's what motivates you to kind of keep doing this.
Awesome. Thank you, Margaret.
Yeah.
Sam, I want to make sure I have, yeah, go for it.
No, sorry.
You're good.
Um,
You're good.
Yeah, I think one of the first thing that came to mind is student government because it just takes up so much of my time at Columbia and it takes up so much of my days here. And it's something that you really do have to have a passion for, I believe. And I think my freshman year campus was as normal as can be, and I joined because it seemed like something that was fun and representing my student body and the events. But I think it's it's no news to anybody that Columbia has gone through some things in the near past. And I think sticking by student government during those times has showed me like my actual commitment to it and that it's not just about the fun things or having or hosting an event. It's really about representing students. And I think Columbia will show you moments in which you kind of do have to say, you know what, I'm maybe doing too much. I have to do something that I really am passionate about. And finding those moments or those things to really do passion, like you have a passion for, is I think what is most important for me. You know, I think my freshman year I joined maybe a lot too many clubs, and now I'm only in parts that I'm really committed to and passionate about. And that was taught to me by the experience of being here in maybe Columbia's more difficult times.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate you sharing that. Another question from the audience. How frequently do clubs meet? And is there a master Google Calendar of meetings for clubs and associations? Go ahead, Omar.
I can speak more to this. So clubs typically make their own schedule for meetings. Usually more cultural based clubs meet once a week, whether they be on Mondays or Wednesdays. I'm just giving dates for clubs that I know and have gone to meetings for. They can be of any day of the week, and they're typically in the later of the evening, starting around 7 or 8. As most everyone wants to be considerate to their schedules, classes can go up to 6 o'clock, and they want to make sure that everyone can attend. So classes are typically held on the later side of the day. Club meetings. And unfortunately, there is no master schedule, and that can be tough when, especially you have two clubs that you're interested in and they both meet at the same time. But I recommend it's not a common occurrence for you to be a part of many clubs, even though they all meet at the same time and you're on their email chain or you're in their board and you're still taking an active part, even outside of club meetings. And there's many clubs who don't even meet once a week. They meet once every 2 weeks, and that's for like bigger publications. And everything is flexible. I would say every club is extremely flexible and receptive to meeting times. I know for the clubs I'm part of, we take a poll of when everyone is the most available and what time works for everyone, and we continue with that. But if anyone wants to speak on this, put some input, welcome to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think for a lot of clubs, some of them it's like take it as you want it, if that makes sense. Like you can be involved as much as you want, but also you don't have to be. So if you're interested in like a bunch of clubs, a lot of people will be flexible in terms of like when you show up. I will say, so for club tennis, we have practices. You can go to practice 1 or 2 times a week, and it really depends on like what you want. For Greek life, it's also just once a week, and a lot of clubs have most of them are during the week. Some clubs have meetings on Sunday, but other than that, your weekend's like usually free, I will say.
Yeah, in my experience, I feel like my Sundays are usually the busier days, which is interesting to hear about. Um, but yeah, I would say that like there are some things or organizations that will have a set time and date. So for example, like Margaret and I can talk about like our student council meetings. CC will always have it on Sundays. ESC will always have it on Mondays at night. It's pretty set. And also if you're joining Greek life, it's kind of the same thing of when you have your meetings on a Sunday or in the weekend.
Thanks, you all. So, this is my final official question, and let's see if there's any other questions from the audience. And again, audience or students, please feel free to ask any questions whatsoever in regards to getting involved. So the last question is, what is your advice for new students in regards to finding your community within student life?
I guess I could start. I it's really simple, but it takes a lot from you. It's be brave, get out of your comfort zone, and make connections with other people. Making connections with other people, I really emphasize is you're building your nest, you're building your tribe here at Columbia, and you're entering a new chapter in your life. And once you step out those gates, you have to find a community. You have to build one. So finding your community, whether it's like finding your own or building your own tribe, it's one of the most important aspects of loving and appreciating your time at Columbia. I really urge you that once you step through those gates, you take advantage of the people that you meet, the interactions you have, and take advantage of your time that you have, because as first years, I recommend that you really settle in and appreciate the community and really make your mark, because it goes by quicker than you know it. And this is, it's really valuable time in your college career.
Thank you, Armando.
Yeah, I mean, I like 110% agree with everything that Armando said. And like kind of realizing that everyone's in the same boat as you. Like everyone's so nervous, probably, to like be on campus and like be in a new environment where you probably don't know most of the people. So like not being afraid to say yes and stepping out of your comfort zone. Um, but then also realizing that like there's so many interesting people that you can talk to, and if you like maybe don't hit it off with one person, it's like no big deal. You just like don't have to talk to them again. Like I feel like it's a very much a like low stakes thing when you get on campus.
Thanks, Margaret.
Yeah, I mean, what my peers are saying is completely like truly what I agree with. I think you're gonna see during your NSOP experience, which is your orientation program, really it's gonna feel like an entire campus united because you're all going through the same thing of transitioning. You don't know how many friends I've made just simply being in the elevator to my dorm and be like, "Hey, where are you from?" Or "I heard you speak Spanish" or anything. But I will say that for me, it was particularly interesting because it was a complete change from high school. You know, you're a completely new person, or you can be a new person if you'd like to, and you can have a fresh start. So, for example, for me, I really didn't have a lot of male friends growing up, but now I think like my closest like 10 friends are all guys here. So it really like does get a change, and it's because I had an open mind to who I was going to be friends with. So yeah, just keep an open mind and be brave, just like they said.
Thanks, Sam. So we have like roughly 3 or 4 questions that just got submitted. So let's just take them one at a time. So when do first year students join clubs? Is it during orientation or later, or should we get in contact with clubs in advance? Nina, you want to? Oh, okay, Armando, go ahead.
Yes, so we have thanks to USL and Nina and the governing boards, we have activities day, where I believe it's September 5th, the first Friday of the first week of class. So it's really a day. I believe it starts in the morning and ends in the later afternoon, where all the clubs are present. A great majority of the Columbia's clubs are present, and they have a table where they present, and you can scan QR codes and sign out your email to show your interest. And it's really just a great big display of all Columbia's clubs, and they're really inviting you to come. It's fantastic. Every club wants to be there, and they're going to be shouting their name. And I recommend just walking around the entirety of campus. It really takes up all of College Walk, and just keeping your eye out of what's interesting. But if you would like to prepare in advance, you could look at Activities Board at Columbia or the Student Governing Board website, and that lists all our clubs, as well as Lion Link, I believe, also has a listing of all the clubs that you can see their mission statement, as well as get a good idea of what they're like. And you could do some scouting in advance the day before to make sure that you know where you want to go to, who you want to talk to, and there'll be people there for them to tell you more about the club, to answer all your questions, and they'll be delighted to help you find your spot. But also feel free to reach out to them in advance if you do see their email, or if you have any more questions like that. I could be helped to direct you.
I will
Thank you.
also
Go ahead.
emphasize
Nina.
a few
Welcome back.
more just little tidbits. So yes, the activities day is the first Friday of classes. It happens on pretty much the entirety of Lower Campus. So the Low Plaza and all of the sort of south of that towards Butler Library, which you'll soon be very familiar with. There's a lot of tables, there's a lot of clubs. It's a really busy day. There's also a map that is available, so you can sort of look on the map and figure out which club you want to go visit, and you can figure out where their table is and go find them. Two other things I'll say is that orientation is supposed to be a week where you're really just immersing yourself in your classmates and in sort of the Columbia community at large. So it's less about clubs. I would really encourage all of you to spend that week getting to know the people who are in your orientation group, who you're eating with at the dining halls, your orientation leaders, and don't worry about joining clubs. There's a lot of time for that later. It doesn't have to all happen right away. That first week should really be about orienting yourself to a new place and to a new city, and enjoying the sort of experience of that. And then once classes start, clubs are going to be very active and very much there and available to join. But I will also say, if you miss a club at activities day, or you can't find the table, or you decide later you want to join a club, it's not too late. There are a lot of opportunities to join clubs. I would always recommend looking up their websites, looking up their Instagrams. You can always DM folks and say, hey, I missed your table at activities day, but I still would like to join. Is there any way I can get involved? There's a lot of ways to get involved on this campus. And a lot of clubs are accepting new members past the first couple weeks of classes. So don't feel like you've missed it if you don't get involved right away. There's a lot of ways to get involved throughout your entire time at Columbia. It does not have to happen in the first week. I'll just say that.
Margaret and Nina, the question around fraternity and sororities, same way of students getting involved is through the activities fair? Or is there another? Okay, you're
Yeah,
shaking your head. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Margaret.
There is, I think I forget what exactly it's called. Nina, you might have to fill in on this, but there is like an introductory like fair on like Butler lawns, and like that's when you really get to learn about the fraternities and sororities. But we don't do formal rush until second semester, so starting in January. But yeah, if you want to talk to people about like their experiences though, a lot of people will be open to kind of like, I guess, like telling you about their experience in the sorority and things like that during this day, or even just like reaching out to people on Instagram. I know like all the girls in my sorority would love to talk to anyone. I'm sure that's the same for every other one.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so the event that Margaret's mentioning is called Letters on the Lawn. I believe it happens, I think at the end of NSOP, it's that Saturday, the 30th, if I'm not mistaken. It should be in your guidebook, which you now should have access to. And you can meet representatives from each fraternity and sorority at that event. And then they also do attend the activities day. So there's a bunch of opportunities to meet folks from the different fraternities and sororities before Rush happens. Yeah.
Thanks, Nina. Thanks, Margaret. Sam, I have another question that I think pertains to you. What's being part of a student publication like? For example, they mentioned that I think you mentioned being part of the Journal of Global Health.
Yeah, I'm actually a part of a couple of publications. So I'm also in the Journal of Public Health, of Global Health. There's a couple of different teams that do different things. So and this I feel like if you see different journals, there's going to be different teams. So there's going to be like editing team that are going to be peer editing just the articles that are being sent to being published. There's also going to be like a publication and design team, which is what I'm part of for the Journal of Global Health. So I make sure that the publication looks pretty, I make the covers, and I organize everything else. But there's definitely a lot of different teams within each group. There's research teams, there's outreach teams, there's networking teams within these publications that don't limit you only to like having to write something for a publication or for a magazine. In another one of the clubs that I'm in, It's the undergraduate film journal, and for that, I'm a blog writer. So none of my things get published in print or anything, and I don't have to edit anyone else, but I write for blogs. I don't have to make anything look pretty. I just write my feelings about movies and TV shows. So it really does you have to figure out some of the clubs that are in here in the publications because they're all pretty different. But they're all gonna have different roles for you to fill in as many as you'd like, and your interests are different for every single one. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Sam. Is there an app that send notification about clubs and Rush and other activities? Is there an app that students can download and utilize?
There is not an app, as far as I know, that does that. I think that there's a lot of different ways that information goes out to students. There are still a lot of physical flyers that get posted on different buildings in Learner Hall, which is the sort of student center in residence halls. I would highly recommend looking at the flyers. There's a lot of things that go about events that are happening, ways to get involved. For Rush specifically, Margaret, I think you can probably speak to this better than I can about how information goes out about Rush. But for in general, I would say look at flyers, look at Instagram, look on the USL website. There's a lot of stuff that you can always link to student pages there. And the USL Instagram also, which is at Columbia USL, we also post a lot of things about things that are happening on campus.
Yeah, I mean, the way I found out about Rush was just from talking to people. Every sorority and fraternity also has an Instagram that they will advertise. But then also there's a lot of flyering that goes on around campus. So you definitely won't miss out in terms of like clubs trying to get the news out. I also feel like I got an email about from like fraternity and sorority life, like the office about Rush. So really just like keep up with your email and like online you'll probably see it if not on a flyer.
Thanks, Margaret. Thanks, Nina. So I think we're at that time to wrap up. Panelists, I wanted to just give it back to you one more time to see if you have any final advice, final words, or final thoughts that you like to offer our new students as they're gearing up to be on campus very soon. Go ahead, Amanda.
Yes, I just wanted to double back. Publications, I mean, you can say this about every club present at Columbia. There's always something for you to do, and there's always an interest of yours that all you need to do is speak up and express that interest. Publications, they have illustrators, they have editors, they have investigators, they have interviewers. I've been interviewed by so many of my fellow students and asked, where can I draw? There's poetry, there's writing, there's film. There's so many different facets of life that are really present at Columbia, and you can express your interests, your passions, your careers, your pursuits in an infinite amount of ways here at Columbia. And I really urge you to just find your spot, make your mark, be expressive. Don't hide yourself away. Don't hide your talents. Don't try to be humble. I honestly would say express your full self and really express all your talents and really try to connect with others. That is number one thing. That is how you flourish here. That is how you make valuable friendships and connections, and that's how you really develop as a student here at Columbia, and you make your mark. That's all I have to say about that.
Thank you, Armando.
Yeah, I mean, I think my biggest like piece of advice and also reflection over the last year was just knowing where your boundaries are. I think like you kind of because you're like at Columbia, which is a great school, everyone just seems like they're on top of their game and they know what they're doing and they're on all these things. But knowing that like everyone probably feels the same kind of competition that you do, and knowing that like making prioritizing your happiness and then also like your personal goals over maybe what someone else is doing is like really truly the most important part, I think.
Thanks, Margaret. Good advice. Sam?
I would say that you're about to enter your new home and you're about to enter a new stage of your life that is so incredible and so fun. And I just really want you all to like live in the moment and really enjoy it for what it is. And don't get ahead of yourself and think too far in the future about like don't even think about next semester, really take it day by day because right now you're gonna get so much information to process and so many experiences to process that really do enjoy the moment that you're living in right now. And also don't hesitate to reach out to any of us. I think I speak for all of us when we say we're student leaders for a reason, and we love hearing from everybody. So yeah, just find us anywhere, email us or anything. But yeah, enjoy your time here.
Thanks, Sam. So thank you all for joining us today. A big shout out to our panelists, Margaret, Armando, and Sam, and Nina. Thank you so much for sharing your stories and advice. And folks, your time at Columbia is really what you make it, full of opportunities to grow and connect and have fun. Again, thanks for being here today. And I personally can't wait to meet all of you soon and experience and watch you grow and see all of what you get involved in. So have a great rest of the Friday and have a great weekend. Bye, you all.